These are just two of the characters. Like there's quite a lot of character that you can play during the storyline that you can have as members of your party during the story, but you only control your own character, and you create your own character.
Okay.
So can you then give instructions for the AI? So
Yes.
please do it like this, do it like this. Don't spend all my hard-earned mana and points and everything.
Yeah, so while you're fighting, you can give instructions to your party members whether to focus on one target or to stay away or to use more melee attacks or to use more arts, for example.
Yeah. I would say it would be easier you just start, show us, and then when we come to each points, we can go a little bit into detail.
Sure.
Yeah?
So I'm just gonna take a quest. This is a small side quest, so no spoilers, even though we are in a fairly advanced part of the game.
How far advanced are we right now?
Well, in the storyline, we are fairly advanced, but it's tough to say in the sense that as for the previous game, you can spend hundreds of hours just doing side quests and advance the storyline very slowly. So, as regard to the story, we are almost we are toward the end, but of course the game has much more than just the main story parts, especially the all online component that comes on top of that as well.
Okay. So in terms of size, would you say it's equally as big as the first one, or?
Yeah, I would say the size of the world is much bigger, geographically. In amount of hours, I would say you can spend easily 200 hours if you want playing the game. If you want to do every side quest, if you want to kill every special monster, for example. And so I just took, as I said, a small heart-to-heart quest. So heart-to-hearts also come back as a concept from the previous game, but here you can really have full quests, full missions.
Could you explain what the heart-to-heart quests are?
Basically these are quests that increase the relationship, that improve the relationship between characters or with members of the city. So in Xenoblade Chronicles X, you have a complex map of relationships of every character and how they are connected to each other, and also all the non-playable characters, what is their relation to one another, and you can basically help everybody out and try to improve the destiny of the humans that are living in New LA, or simply to improve the city itself. There are a lot of alien races in the planet Mira, and some of them will then also come to live in New LA. Actually, here on the background, you see that there is a spaceship. Actually, let me jump into my skull and get closer.
So you can, anytime if you have the, what is the name here exactly?
So in the English version of the game, they're called skells.
Skells.
These are robots like from Exoskeleton.
Not gears, it's skells.
No. And when you get them while you're playing the story. You need to get a license for them. You can then use them to travel around. And here we see, for example, this is an alien spaceship that is just hovering on top of New Los Angeles because one of the races of alien came to live with us, basically.
Or just like, what was Alien Nation, Space Cop LA, something.
Do you still have the In-N-Out burger?
Oh, yeah, well, you saw it. Well, in the residential district here, let me just dive down and...
you have to look for a parking space for the robots.
Yeah,
well...
looks like Hill Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's inspired by Los Angeles. So here in this part, you have also some fast food that were shown in Treehouse Live, actually, and one looks actually like In-N-Out burger, it's true. But let me jump out of the city and show you...
So did it just transform when you were near the road by itself to a
No, I pressed the button to do
you pressed the button, yeah?
Yeah, so let me land again, I'll show you. So I can walk as a skull, like this, or I can click on the L stick and transform into a vehicle, like this. And then if I move a little bit, my other team members will do the same.
Is there a special advantage to go around like a vehicle there instead of flying just
when
everywhere?
you first get the skull license, you cannot fly on them.
Okay.
You can only walk on the ground and transform into a vehicle. Then when you proceed a little bit on the story, then you also get the license to fly on them, basically.
So when you can fly so high that you can leave the
city, yeah.
The city and explore the world?
Exactly. So, I mean, you can go outside of the city on foot. It just takes a little bit longer. So, I'll just...
What's up with the fuel at the site? How long do you have to tank them up? Do you have to search for a gas station?
Basically, when you're... there is a resource. There are a lot of resources that you can collect in the world. And this also plays a part into the exploration, which is a big focus in this game. When I land, I will show you, actually, if I land in the city, I will go back down to the city, and...
It looks up to now pretty much seamless, so loading times, or is it just everything in the background?
If I teleport somewhere with the minimap, I will have a loading time, but if I simply move from one place to the other, I have no loading time for the whole world. So actually, let me show you. Now you see that the fuel level, actually not here, sorry, I have to go somewhere else. But if I am in the, if I'm flying, it goes down. But if I go here, this is the blade center, so it's the place where you start your work to reclaim this planet. Sorry, I'll just go down again. So here, if I wait here for a while and I go out of my skull, it should start going up again. You see the fuel goes up again. So you use fuel only when you fly or when you fight in the robots. So in the skulls, when you fight, every ability costs fuel. And in this way, you cannot basically use them for forever infinitely.
Can you improve the fuel by I don't know, finding parts or upgrading your suit or something like that?
Well, you get more fuel. Well, you can improve the consumption, but mainly you get more fuel by exploring the world and planting probes into the earth, basically.
It's a bit of a throwback, so of course they're not related, but I was a big fan of Xenogears back then on the PlayStation 1. And that's of course a lot of content with the fuel, with the scales to get in and out, so it reminds me quite a bit of that.
Yes, it's true. I mean, the Xeno games always have some elements that put them in common, but as you know, they're always
they're not
very
really
different
connected.
words. Yes, exactly. So you can see here, I'm in the first of the 5 continents of the game, and this continent is called Primordia. And it's a continent full of beasts that are a mix between prehistoric beasts, like you can see that giant guy over there, and animals. So they try to give them an alien look while making them look familiar as well.
But they have those animals in Los Angeles right now. I saw them.
They play for the football team.
No, they have them. I saw them. That's Bob right there.
Okay. And here we have like some more like these look more like the alien version of a pig, probably. And just to show you how big the scales are and how big the scale of the world, if I go out, you can see that I'm fairly tiny compared to these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And if I jump back in,
they are tiny.
Yeah, they are tiny now.
So
yes.
if you should leave your scales somewhere far back and then you come across an enemy who's quite really big, is there a button to call them, or do you have to walk back?
No, you would have to run back to them. Also, I mean, the scale of the enemies is divided so that these giant enemies, if they are even like, it's normal, like in Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, to find enemies that are maybe 50, 60 levels higher than you in certain places. Like this is the initial area, and this is a level 50 enemy. So when I am level 2, this guy will not attack me automatically.
It will auto.
It will not attack me
because
automatically.
It will kill you with
because
inside.
I mean, it would make no sense for the gameplay. So usually, bigger enemies, when they see a skull, then maybe they try to attack it because maybe they're looking for the challenge or they feel threatened by it. But they don't attack the characters when they're on foot.
We're not even worthy.
And the same, smaller enemies will not attack me if I'm on a skull because they know that they have no chance.
Okay.
Up on the right corner, you have the clock.
Yes.
So you have a clock that goes in not quite real time, but as we see, we're now in the middle of the night. We have to wait for some quests to become day and everything, so it's very important.
It's roughly, not exactly, but roughly 1 second of real time corresponds to 1 minute in the game. So in about 24, sorry, now I'm mixing it up. Yeah, maybe in about 24 minutes you have a day cycle.
So and when it's day, there are different animals.
Exactly. So
stuff going on.
When during the day or during the night you have different animals. Also, you have animals that maybe are not aggressive during the day, but they become aggressive during the night. And also, if I press the menu button, you see now there you have weather effects clear, There are weather effects. They are much more prevalent here than in the previous title, and there are enemies that only come out when there's a heavy rain, or some enemies in the desertic area, they come out when there is a sandstorm. And also, you have much different abilities during certain weather effects. So when it's heavy rain, all the electrical attacks will do much more damage to you, for example.
Awesome. Tell me, what I loved about the first game was that you could venture to a far part of the map, and then suddenly there was this one occasion where a giant creature came from the ground up, and I had like a boss fight.
Yep.
And when I defeated it, I get an awesome weapon for it. That's the stuff I love in games, that I have a huge world, and if I venture somewhere and I might get lucky and find something crazy.
Yeah.
Good.
So in Xenoblade Chronicles X as well, there are certain special monsters, more elite version of monsters, and when you defeat them, you usually always get an item for it. And some of them are also maybe not part of story quests, but you have to basically find them and defeat them. There are also some enemies that are so strong that you can basically only defeat online. So you need 3 other human players.
Also, you can play with other players.
Not the story mode. So the story mode you play with the story quests.
Yes.
Sorry, because there is no story mode or multiplayer mode. Everything is one seamless word. The story quests, you play them with story characters.
Yes.
And there are some special multiplayer parts, multiplayer quests and multiplayer monsters that you can play with other 3 human characters. So you have a party of 4 with 4 human players online.
Okay.
But they're completely optional, so I don't have to finish the game to play with other people if I'm somebody who doesn't like to play with other people.
No, it's true. They are optional. It's true. Here I wanted to show you a bit of the exploration side of it. I think people watching can also see what I'm seeing on the gamepad.
Yes.
And every part of the map has some these symbols. Every part of the map is divided in hexagons. In some of them, there are these probe points. So here in this beam of light, I can plant a probe, and this will first of all unlock all the map around it. I will be able to see what it is. It will inform me if there is some enemy or some special quest that I can do in that part. But also it will give me fuel or miranium, the special metal that exists on the planet Mira.
But you have to activate it.
I have to activate it, and at the moment I can't because you need to level up the mechanical skill for this, and I don't have mechanical level 5 at the moment. So this particular probe...
How do you level it up?
By progressing through certain side quests and certain story quests.
Okay.
And also simply by collecting more.
So it's always important to unlock new sites, implant your stuff there.
Exactly.
So you get. How's the world divided here? So is it kind of like invisible barriers, so to speak? Normally, everything you should see there, you should be able to go back there. It was the first game.
So if I want to go over the cliff at the end that I see on the back, I can simply fly there and I go there.
Okay.
This you can go there?
Yes, of course you can. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it is that I'm on the ground. As a human, I don't have access to skulls. I see a layer of the world. Then I get access to skulls. I can fight bigger monsters. Then when I can fly, I can go back to areas that I already visited on foot, and I have a complete new layer of world that I can explore, because normally I cannot get there anywhere but flying.
So I guess, or maybe are there any places that you only can reach if you have gathered enough fuel, because you normally wouldn't get there?
Well, you can see that we've been traveling quite a lot, and the fuel is still quite full. Fuel you mostly need for fighting.
Okay.
I mean,
that's the end of the game. You have enough fuel, so we can fly back to Earth and see or if it's still there.
Well, where we see, unfortunately, we see in the initial cutscene that the planet explodes completely, so there is really nothing left there. Also, you see here that there are enemies that are much higher level that are flying on this part, and I'm only level 41. You can see up there. The green bar on the upper left side is the level of each of my characters. So actually these skulls are level 41, I'm level 40.
Oh, so you're scared right now?
Well, I'm not going to go there. I'm actually going to teleport toward the continent of Noctilum, which is the place where we can take on that quest that I took at the beginning.
Okay, I want to see some battle. I want to fight some monsters.
Yeah. So
Can you find different suits, or do you find just the one and that's yours
no,
for the rest of the game?
you have to buy them actually. So
Oh, okay.
at the beginning you unlock a level 30 skulls, and also each skull has these are light skulls, and
Yes.
I can have medium and heavy skulls as well. They look much different. They look much bulkier, of course. Then I can unlock level 40 or level 50 skulls, which are much more powerful as well.
Okay.
So this is Noctilum, which is more like a jungle rather than like a plain, like the one that was before. I can follow the arrow that you see, the yellow arrow on the minimap, but I can also use this new feature, which is this ball of light that guides me toward the quest that I need to take on. So let me try to drive a little bit there and see. I just want to stop because this is one of my favorite enemies of the game. Looks like an elk made of plants, basically.
Looks a little bit like the creatures from the Dark Crystal movie,
Yeah,
So,
Jim Henson movie.
I'm being
same
attacked.
hairstyle.
I'm being attacked, but I'm
Same
just flying
hairstyle.
away.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to trigger the next part of the quest. In this quest, we have to basically find a race of evil aliens, a sentient race that has an army on this planet. And let me just try to get there.
What are you collecting? Those diamonds?
It's like the orbs in the Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. It's just the items. They
Okay.
are represented like that in the game world. So let me get to the quest area. Okay, here we are. I'll get out of my skull and okay, so it's this fire. We are looking for some ganglions, which is one of the many alien races. And Tatsu, the Nopon character, is basically part of the storyline. He is a guest. He helps you out, but you don't control him. You don't.
Okay.
I mean, he's not part of your party members that fight. He's always giving you basically insights on the world of Mira because he's a native of the world, and he's helping you out around the world. Also, you can take decisions during quests. So here I can maybe suggest I take a look around, or I can maybe tell, look, I heard something, so let's prepare. Maybe there's a fight is coming up.
You have this little emoticons over the head, so if the decision decides how the characters stand to each other. Yeah?
Yeah, certain characters like certain behaviors more than others. So maybe you take a decision and one character is happy and the other isn't, and vice versa. You can also really decide the destiny of some of the side quest characters. Sometimes you make a decision, people go somewhere and they get killed. So these guys are the ganglions. And they are basically talking about other people that they've been fighting. And we are simply spying at the moment.
Wow, the hair.
Yeah, he has a lush
Yes.
hairdo. So Elma is the head of this party. We are members of the Blade organization, which is basically the way that humanity decided to organize themselves to explore and
They
save the
fell in
world.
love with you.
No, they just like my decision.
Oh, they liked your decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
So much, so very much.
Would be awesome if this was happening in real life. That somebody says it and a heart appears about that.
So I'm gonna
Make things
now.
much easier.
I'm going to start a fight now on foot. And on foot I have arts, very similar to Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. So I start the fight. And in this game I have both ranged weapons and melee weapons. I can change at any time. So I can press a button and I am now in melee. I'm auto-attacking at the moment. But I have all these arts that you see down there. And each of them has a lot of different effects. So for example, I tell the enemies to attack me with one art that draws rage, and then I use a melee attack that's very strong. There's a lot going on screen if you've never seen the game, of course.
Yeah. So all the skills you got there, of course, you don't have them from the beginning.
No.
Is there something like a skill tree where you can select which one you get, or is it like you're gaining the levels and then it unlocks?
You have your character can change class. You have many different character classes, and each class has a different set of arts, basically, that you can use. Also, there is. You might notice that sometimes my party members they shout something. You see a text box with a color. If these colors correspond to a specific art. If I use that art at the right moment, I can heal my characters. Because there is very little ways. It's quite difficult to heal your characters unless you basically use the right ability at the right moment. There are very few abilities that simply heal you straight away. You have to either do something at the right moment or press the B button when that circle appears in the center of the screen.
But your three followers from your party, you don't tell them what to do. They fight for themselves.
Well, normally they would fight for themselves, yes. But I can basically give them orders that change their behavior. But normally they're controlled by the AI.
Can you really pick the arts they should use, or do you just generally say go aggressive, go defensive?
You can do both. So while you fight, you can tell them which behavior to take. But if I go into the menu, I can select each art that they have available. I cannot control when they use them, but I can simply equip exactly what I want them to use, and then they will use that.
Okay.
So now I go back to the skulls, and I go to the next part, because I want to show you how you fight in the skulls. And so arts are part of the character classes when you are on foot. When you are on skulls, each item that you put on the skull gives you a different ability. So I can maybe go briefly into the menu and show you. If I'm in the party and so these arts, these are part of my class. This is because I'm a samurai gunner, and these are the arts that I have. I have my bar, I can select them. But if I go into the skull equipment, each one of these, actually you see, for example, this weapon gives me that red art that is flashing down. This other weapon gives me this blue one. So if the items I have on the skull change the abilities I have on the skull. It's not the character class.
Okay, and it's not like that if you carry the equipment long enough and fight with it that you retain the skill and can select it without the equipment. Just you put the equipment out there, exchange it, and you have a new skill.
So skulls depend on items, and the human characters depend on the class, basically.
Okay.
When you're a human, you can also level up a specific art and make it stronger, for example. So let me again go to the next part. This giant tentacle flying away. Okay, not away enough because he's still attacking me. But
so if you fight enemies that are very, very big with the humans, of course you shouldn't have any chance to beat them. But if you manage it, do you gain more experience, or is it something if you just kill little enemies with the skulls, then it's like nothing? So do you have to select appropriately all the time?
It's a very good question, actually. When you are a human, you can try to tackle some of the giant monsters, but it's really like the class of damage. Like really, it's a different order of damage. It becomes very hard unless you are massively over-leveled compared to them, basically. And even then, it can become quite hard. So now, I have to get into this cave, where I find Shark's Jaws is the area. So these are the people you'll see now in the quest line. The aliens, the evil aliens, the Ganglion, they were talking about these two characters that we see here. These are side characters. They're not incredibly important for the story, but they're really nice. We have this giant beast that actually has a voice of a child, and he's a very non-violent guy. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. And this young girl that instead is like a very aggressive, very powerful, strong character. You just come upon them. And now I have this big fight ahead of me with 6 or 7 characters, and I'm gonna fight on the skulls. Now actually I'm gonna jump on them automatically. So let's start So you can see that when I'm a Skell, it's really, really hard for them to do any damage to me. Sometimes you get thrown into the cockpit. This is from inside the Skell. It happens when you're doing like some special damage.
Okay, so you can't just push a button and do the cockpit side. It happens if you do it.
No, it happens in special conditions, basically.
Are there enemies, or of course, if it would be a spoiler, then don't talk about it. But do you have enemy skulls there, or something different in battle there?
Well, as you can see, you are not the only sentient race. You're not the only creatures with an intelligence and a language and a civilization and an army and maybe machinery even.
Okay.
Did you just make like 30k damage?
Yeah, I mean there are some abilities that destroy. I mean they're on foot, so I mean it's really unfair what I'm doing right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
It's very
Should be
unfair.
ashamed.
I don't like that.
But I still want to show you. Also, you can see down in the bar that each attack costs a certain amount of fuel. So this costs 30 fuel. The pulse laser also costs 30 fuel. And again, each of them has a different properties. And there is a lot of bonus effects if you're attacking maybe from the front or from the side, from far away or from close. Even here, I can switch to a melee weapon or a ranged weapon. I have these giant claws in my robot, which look really cool. And when you can see I attack them, they do a lot of damage. And let me just... Also, if the Skell gets destroyed in combat, you have to pay an insurance money to get it back. So it's really important to explore, collect currency, extract materials, but at least you don't lose them forever.
And do the insurance companies sometimes say, sorry, that's it's not covered by our insurance?
You signed the wrong paper. I
Yeah.
see. It's monster damage.
No, it's I mean it's the future. So you know, like it's still a future in which some things are
Okay.
better than our world.
Oh, that's awesome. The insurance always pays.
So now, but yeah, in the combat, like something I want to point out, it's really important to use the right art at the right time, especially when your team members are calling for something, because it's really difficult otherwise to heal yourself. Now I'm into overdrive mode, which is another ability of the Skells, which allows me to be extra powerful. And also something else I can show you now is that at any moment, even while I'm fighting, I can, oh right, too late, but I can go out of the Skell while I'm in the combat. So I can also start the fight on foot and then jump in the robot and fight. So here we have these two characters. And at the beginning, they really don't trust you because they don't trust anybody. And you have to convince them that it's nice if they go back to live with you in New Los Angeles and you don't mean any harm to them.
Then they take residence in New LA and you can select them for quests, or they become accessible?
You can keep on helping them.
Okay, so they become more like quest givers.
Yeah, they become side characters. So these are Celica and Rock, by the way. And they will move back to the city. We can see it shortly, actually. And they will start... you can still keep on improving their relationship, basically.
And what with the big guy?
So yeah, the big guy actually, if you hear the Japanese voice, is a very, very tiny, high-pitched voice, because he's actually very young for a member of his race. And he's really, really a nice guy. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to fight at all.
So he